There is a quote I really like from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, which is a French writer, which says, a goal without a plan remains a wish. And basically, I really believe in that. You really have to have a can-do attitude and execute along the way. So you should set targets for yourself, for your team, and go. And there will be failure along the way, but it's part of the journey. And you have to accept and embrace them and learn from it and go to the next one.
Materials engineers are behind some of the modern world's greatest inventions, but to make an impact in everyday life, engineers need entrepreneurs to bring those innovations to the market. For those of you looking to build a career at the intersection of engineering and entrepreneurship, Dr. Fanny Barde is here shining a light as an example of how to effectively integrate these two areas. Such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you for inviting me here.
Absolutely. Okay, you have had a very extensive career in battery research. How did you get there?
Okay, interesting question. So actually, initially I was a chemist. So I studied at university chemistry, and I was always attracted by nature because nature is so beautiful. And basically I wanted to mimic nature in the laboratory. So basically when you design materials, you are able to somehow mimic nature. So that was my interest for chemistry. Later on, I could not really decide. I also like very much physics. And finally, I found a way which was between the two, so between physics and chemistry, and it was material science. That's how I ended up in material science and material engineering. And later on, I had the chance to meet Professor Tarascon, a very well-known professor in the field of battery. He was coming back from the US when I was studying in France. And when I met him during my master degree, I knew I want to work with him, so I went to register myself in his lab to do a PhD with him. And that's how the whole battery story started in my career.
So you had a science background.
Yes.
Did you always have a little bit of an itch to be an entrepreneur as well?
Actually, not really. So it's really something which grew along the way. Initially, I was doing my career in academia. Soon after my PhD, I did a postdoc for Duracell, which actually brought me to Boston here in Needham. And that's where I noticed that industry was really something for me because it's about applied science. And basically, for me, it was always important what I do in the lab, that it will end up in a product and it can change potentially our life and the life of the citizen and improve, hopefully, sustainability. So that's how I decided to move into a more applied science career.
Okay, so let's talk about the company that you started,
Yes.
SOLiTHOR. It's focused on next generation battery development. The Thor is actually a reference to the Norse god. What can you tell us about this connection?
Yes, indeed. So basically, when we design the name of the company, it's based on three parts. So SOLiTHOR, the first part, Sol, refers to solid state battery because we use a solid electrolyte in our battery. The Li refers to the ions lithium, which are the ions moving in the battery. And finally, indeed, the Norse god Thor refers to mastering electricity. So basically, with our battery at SOLiTHOR, we want to master electricity thanks to our solid state electrolyte and solid state batteries.
And so what differentiates a SOLiTHOR battery from other types of similar batteries?
Yes, so in the conventional battery we are using today in cars or phone, the electrolyte is a liquid flammable solvent, and this sometimes brings some certain safety issues. We see sometimes in the news thermal runaway of such batteries.
Right.
And definitely we really need to have batteries which are safer, but at the same time which has 30% lighter. So what SOLiTHOR brings onto the market is a battery at the same time which is 30% lighter, but also safer compared to conventional battery we use today.
Okay, incredible. When do you expect to launch these batteries in industrial applications, and what types of capacities are we looking at?
Today we are at the early stage of the battery company SOLiTHOR. We are existing since 4 years. Today the team is actually trying to develop, upscale the technology. So now we are trying to produce our electrolyte on a roll-to-roll process to demonstrate the upscalability of our battery technology. And this we think will take from 2 to 3 years. In parallel of developing the roll-to-roll process, our team is actually integrating those new components, the solid electrolyte and the cathode impregnated with the electrolyte, into prototype cells. So today the cell my team is building are having a capacity of 1 to 5 ampere hours, knowing that in application we are targeting, you need a capacity which go from a range from 5 to 50 or 100 ampere hours. But I also want to mention that basically it's not the purpose of SOLiTHOR to become a gigafactory. Our business model is based on licensing the technology. So our team's main target is actually to demonstrate on one hand the technology advantage, which is lighter and safer battery, and also demonstrate the upscalability of those materials, because we want to really to be able to produce them in tons and in kilometer scales. And for that, we also need partnership. So today we are really focusing on both two types of partnership. On one hand, end users. So it can be in the domain of aviation, defense, and space, where we want to have our battery, which will really have an advantage, being safer and lighter. And second, to have partnership with a material company or cell manufacturer who will license the technology from us in order to produce the battery for us, basically.
Well, and you're in a great place to look for that type of partnership.
Exactly, yeah.
Speaking of which, attendees here at MRS really can learn a lot from your entrepreneurial skills and also your leadership abilities. Did having an engineering background help you become the leader that you are today? And if so, in what way?
Yes, for sure. So basically, yeah, I believe in to be a leader, I think you should show by example. Obviously, in the team of SOLiTHOR today, we have 34 employees. 19 of them have PhD or master degrees in science and material or chemistry. And I believe that by having gone through all the steps in my career, starting as an engineer, grow to a technical manager, and ultimately to an entrepreneur, I think I show by example somehow. So this is one thing. And secondly, scientific people are very opinionated. So I think it's very nice because actually by having a culture in the company of sharing opinions, we want to listen to the different opinions. And from there we define the roadmap, which is a consensus. Obviously we have to set priorities, but we discuss the opinion of different members with different expertise in order to get hopefully to the best decision we can.
All right, final question for you. What advice do you have for maybe somebody who's watching right now who would like to one day become an entrepreneur and they already have an idea to start their own business?
I would say, first of all, believe in yourself, trust in yourself, but also trust in people around you, in your team, delegate. So that's the first thing. Second thing is really to have a can-do attitude. Actually, there is a quote I really like from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, which is a French writer, which says, a goal without a plan remains a wish. And basically, I really believe in that. You really have to have a can-do attitude and execute along the way. So you should set targets for yourself, for your team, and go. And there will be failure along the way, but it's part of the journey, and you have to accept and embrace them and learn from it and go to the next one. So I think that's really something to remember. Don't be afraid to fail. For everyone, there was a first time, and there is some failure along the way. That's part of it.
If you're failing, it means you're at least trying.
Yes, exactly.
All right, great advice. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Best of luck with SOLiTHOR in the future, and appreciate your time.
And thank you for having me here. Thank you.